Hi guys. So, this is the XM2 8K from Endgame Gear. To best describe this mouse, it is the OP1 8K but in the larger, more aggressive claw grip oriented XM2 or XM1 shape that many people love, me included. And if you don't mind the wire, it is basically a claw gripper's endgame mouse. This mouse weighs only 51 grams and the build quality is once again extremely good. This mouse has received some real heavy usage over the course of the past 3 weeks and there is still no creaking or flexing at all. Even the main buttons feel as good as on day one. The weight balancing on this mouse feels also incredible, and the fact that there is no battery inside plus the signature very good coating together with the nice claw grip shape makes this feel like an extension of my arm rather than an object that I'm holding. The size to weight ratio and the center of mass of this mouse being distributed so evenly across the outer shell of the mouse provide a really nice aiming experience. The insides of this mouse are the same as on the OP1 8K, except that there are no hot swappable switches inside this one. I was not gonna do the latency test at first because I already measured them on my OP1 8K video, but since then there have been a lot of firmware upgrades. And yeah, with the latest firmware there has been some really nice improvements that take the OP1 8K and this XM2 8K even further away from the competition. I'm pretty sure a human can't feel these kind of differences, but hey, if you have the capability to optimize, why not do so? So the click latency this time around is the exact same with every polling rate, and it is now even less than before, averaging around 67 microseconds with a standard deviation of 18 microseconds. Is just ridiculously low, and you get this with every polling rate on the mouse. And this result is even without the GX speed modes on, which changes the point where the switch actuates to the point when the switch leaves the resting point, to simplify things a little. To measure the latency using the GX speed mode requires end-to-end testing, which the XLAT can't do, but several sources have stated that with the GX speed mode, the latency is reduced even further by like 1.5 milliseconds, which takes this even further away from the competition. Like, there is pretty much no competition at this point. Then the motion latency is another thing that I have a hard time wrapping my head around, but with some kind of voodoo, this mouse gives the exact same values with every polling rate from 1K up to 8K compared to my control unit, and the value is as low as -1 to -1.2 milliseconds. I measured this many times because I couldn't believe this at first, but then I noticed that Tech Power Up had also gotten these exact same values when he reviewed the OP1 8K with some of the more recent firmwares, so that pretty much validates these results for me since we use the same method for testing. Same things apply to polling stability as well, so with this mouse and the OP1 8K, the greatest benefit of using a higher polling rate is pretty much only the smoother cursor feel that the higher polling rate provides. This is huge for those with a weaker CPU, since you can get the best possible click and motion latency with a superior stability with this mouse even with using a 1K polling rate. That doesn't tax your system as much as 8K, for example. The switch implementation feels also very nice on this mouse, and the Kale GX switches feel snappy. The pre-travel is minimal and the post-travel is very on point to provide some needed rebound when spam clicking. It's kind of a bummer to not be able to hot swap the switches on this one, but honestly, these feel really nice. The scroll wheel feels nicely tactile, it works really well, same as with the side buttons. On the side buttons I really like the shape of them, and the gap makes it really easy to feel what button you are pressing. Shape-wise, nothing is changed from the XM2 WE, and it is the tried and true claw grip oriented shape with a fairly wide palm area and downward slanting sides with a really well thought out grooves to accommodate your finger placements, mainly with aggressive claw grip. For my 17.5 times 10.5 cm hand with a fairly wide palm area, this mouse feels very nice in hand and the hump just hugs my palm very nicely. The shape offers really nice stability, but at the same time it kind of restricts the amount of those inner hand movements you can get with a smaller mouse. Personally, I think that I aim with this really well and I don't really seem to miss the freedom of a smaller mouse while using this. It is a really stable, really consistent performance that I get with this. So yeah, this is pretty much the best performing mainly claw grip focused mouse, and the main thing that can push people from getting it is the fact that it is a wired mouse. The same thing was with the OP1 8K, but I feel like slowly people have started to realize also the benefits a wired mouse can offer. But yeah, firstly, the cable is like a really nice cable. It is fairly lightweight for a cable that can offer a stable 8K performance, and the stress relief is nicely pointed upwards so the cable won't get in the way of mouse movement. With a good bungee like the Vaxi Ariza or the Pulsar bungee that attaches to your monitor, I honestly don't even notice the cable with this, just like on the OP1 8K. And another huge benefit of using a wired mouse is, well, it's pretty obvious. You don't need to worry about the battery life of your mouse because there is no battery. It's always plugged into your PC, and yeah, I have a feeling this is gonna be plugged in my PC for a long time. I really like this mouse. So yeah, if you think you can live with the wire, this is one of the best claw grip focused mice you can get, just like the OP1 8K. For me, this shape suits me a lot better than the OP1 since that felt a tad bit too narrow for my grip and my hand size, while this feels really nice and stable. You can get this mouse in 4 different colorways, I believe, which are frosted black, frosted white, this white, and a solid black. And while I don't really know the details about the pricing, my guess is that it's gonna be priced the same as the OP1 8K, so around $75, which for this kind of build quality, this kind of performance, it's a really good price. This is definitely a mouse that I can recommend. But that is all for this one. Thanks for watching and goodbye.